Have you ever felt like you're drowning in your own thoughts, even when life seems perfect on the outside? What if I told you that the most powerful weapon we carry isn't in our hands, but in our mouths? And what if the key to unlocking true peace is simply choosing not to speak? Buddha often reminded his students of the immense power that lies in our words. He once compared the tongue, the very tool we use to speak, to the sharpest knife in the world. Not because it draws blood, but because of the deep, invisible wounds it can leave on the hearts of others. He taught that words, though weightless, are the most dangerous weapons we possess. They can uplift or destroy. They can be a beacon of strength or a trap of weakness, all depending on how, when, and where we use them. When spoken with kindness and wisdom, words can open doors, heal relationships, and bring peace. But when used harshly or at the wrong moment, they can bring chaos, misunderstandings, and lasting pain. So today, dear friends, let me tell you a story, a quiet yet powerful tale about how silence, not speech, can be the most transformative force of all. Long ago, in the serene forests of ancient India, there lived a renowned Buddhist monk. Far removed from the bustling world, his life was simple, peaceful, and deeply meditative. Despite living in seclusion, his wisdom echoed across the land, drawing seekers from far and wide. One day, a troubled king traveled through the forest to find him. He bowed respectfully and confessed, "Revered monk, though I have everything, wealth, fame, pleasures beyond measure, I feel constantly tired, frustrated, and agitated. My mind is never still. Peace escapes me. Please help me." The monk gently replied, "The answer you seek already lies within you, but you have never paused long enough to uncover it. Let us try a simple experiment. If you are willing, it may free your heart from its restlessness forever." The king, desperate and weary, agreed without hesitation. "I will do anything," he said. "Just tell me what to do." In a calm, measured voice, the monk instructed, "For the next 15 days, live here in my monastery, not as a king, but as an ordinary person. You will spend your time in silence, speak as little as possible, just be present, just observe." The king agreed. On the very first day, however, his mind was more restless than ever. Thoughts swirled like a storm, memories, worries, questions. The quiet around him only seemed to amplify the noise within. He longed to speak, to command, to share his frustrations, but he stayed silent. And then, as night fell, something shifted. A strange calmness began to spread within him. He couldn't quite explain it, but the stillness outside seemed to whisper to the chaos inside, "Let go." The next morning, the king sat beneath a tree, watching the world in silence. He noticed things he had never paid attention to before: flowers gently swaying in the breeze, birds soaring freely, leaves glistening with dew. For the first time, he didn't own the world, he was simply part of it. And so the days passed. 10 days went by. With each sunrise, the fog in his mind began to lift. His inner storm softened into still waters. The noise of his restless thoughts slowly faded, replaced by quiet awareness and unexpected joy. By the 12th day, something extraordinary began unfolding inside the king. An unexpected stillness, like a calm lake after a storm. He found himself effortlessly slipping into a deep meditative state. His eyes closed, not by force, but as if guided by an invisible hand. Without trying to control anything, his breath slowed, his thoughts softened. The relentless noise in his mind began to dissolve, and in that sacred silence, peace bloomed. For the next 3 days, the king remained in this state of profound meditation. When he finally opened his eyes, he felt reborn, lighter, clearer, and truly awake for the first time in his life. He stood up, walked calmly to the monk, and bowed deeply. "Respected monk," he said softly, "I finally understand why my mind had been so tormented for so long." The monk, with gentle curiosity, asked, "And what did you discover, my friend?" The king replied with honesty and humility, "I used to talk far too much. My words were often wasted on unimportant things. I spent my energy thinking negatively about others, judging them, criticizing them, complaining. All that talking, all those negative thoughts, they drained my mind and clouded my soul. Because of that," he continued, "I lost focus. I failed in many areas of my life. I was scattered, irritated, easily angered, and those failures only made things worse, pushing me further into frustration. But during these past 15 days, the king smiled with clarity. I experienced something entirely different, a way of living that I had never known. And now I realize I was living wrongly all along." He paused, then added, "Meditation is not something we need to force. When we embrace silence and stillness, it rises naturally, like a seed sprouting when the soil is ready." Hearing this, the monk nodded, pleased. "You're not alone," he said. "Many people in this world speak too much. Even today, people use their words not to heal, but to hurt. They speak without mindfulness, and that chatter brings problems not only to themselves, but to others around them." The monk then shared a teaching from Gautama Buddha himself. He said, "One day, a student asked the Buddha, 'Why do you remain silent so often?' The Buddha replied, 'I stay silent to go deeper within myself. Silence is the first step to truly knowing who you are.'" The monk looked the king in the eye and said firmly, "Without silence, self-discovery is impossible. Learn to speak only when needed. If people practice mindful silence, many of the world's problems would disappear. Around 90% of our daily talk is unnecessary, even harmful. When two people learn the power of silence, there's less arguing, fewer fights, and more peace. Someone who understands silence can feel calm even in the middle of a noisy crowd, and someone who doesn't understand it can feel lonely even in the company of many." He paused and added gently, "You must start by finding that peace inside yourself. Let silence guide you inward. Let your thoughts settle, like leaves falling gently to the ground. If one morning you feel overwhelmed by the chaos of the world, close your eyes, breathe slowly, and return to your center. Because the freshness you seek, the joy, the calm, it's not outside of you. It's within. It has always been there, and only you can touch it." "When you begin looking within," the monk said softly, "you'll start discovering life itself. And in that discovery, even death begins to lose its grip." As the king listened to the monk's words and continued his silent practice, he began to realize something profound. Peace wasn't something to be found outside, but something we return to again and again from within. Life, much like the rhythm of the sun, rises and falls. Joy and sorrow come and go, just like daylight and dusk. But every time we take that sacred journey inward and then return to the world, we emerge refreshed, renewed, like stepping out of a cool, cleansing bath on a hot day. Silence, when embraced intentionally, has a magical way of clearing our inner clutter. When we sit quietly, allowing our thoughts to settle like dust in still air, peace often follows. It doesn't knock loudly, it tiptoes in. And with it comes a subtle kind of happiness, one that doesn't depend on anyone else. When you truly connect with your inner self, something shifts. You begin to see that speaking isn't the enemy. Unconscious, uncontrolled speaking is. You realize that it's not the words themselves that disturb our minds, but the disconnection from our center while we speak. When your words flow from a place of calm and awareness, they carry a different energy. They don't collide with others, they resonate. They carry the warmth of truth and the rhythm of sincerity, like gentle music played at just the right moment. This way of speaking doesn't just touch ears, it touches hearts. When you preserve inner silence, you tap into a hidden reservoir of power. You no longer bend to every demand of society or pressure to please. Instead, you discover a quiet joy, a joy that glows from the inside, similar to the light in the eyes of someone chasing their passion. Your face becomes brighter, your presence becomes lighter. You start to live from the ocean of endless peace that exists within you. Friends, have you ever noticed that talking too much often doesn't bring us peace? It actually does the opposite. The more we speak, the more our minds scatter. It becomes harder to concentrate, harder to stay on track. Our thoughts jump from place to place like restless birds, never landing long enough for us to feel grounded. This lack of focus affects every part of our lives. We struggle to commit to a single goal. We feel exhausted without knowing why. And eventually, we may even miss the deeper meaning of our lives entirely. People who speak too much often find themselves misunderstood, or worse, ignored. On the other hand, those who choose their words carefully and speak only when needed often earn respect. Why? Because their words carry weight. People listen to them, remember them, and trust them. A troubled mind rarely achieves lasting success. Why? Because where there's no clarity, there can be no passion. And without passion, work feels like a burden instead of a joy. True intelligence is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing when, where, and what to say. And those who develop this wisdom tend to succeed not just in their careers, but in relationships and life overall. It's no coincidence that when we look at the lives of wise and successful individuals, whether saints, scientists, or spiritual leaders, they all share one quality. They speak little, but speak with purpose. Their words are considered, refined, and meaningful. In contrast, those who speak endlessly often drift into dishonesty, gossip, and negativity. They harm not only others, but also their own inner peace and reputation. Eventually, even their closest companions start to pull away. Ancient scriptures across many cultures remind us, our words are reflections of our inner world. If we wish to cultivate patience, awareness, and insight, then we must learn to first cultivate silence. And how do we begin? Start small. Take just 20 minutes a day. Sit in solitude. No phone, no talking, no distractions, just you and your breath. It might feel strange at first, but give it time. This simple habit can reshape your entire life. As we move forward in this Zen journey, we'll explore even deeper truths. Truths that reveal how silence isn't the absence of sound, but the presence of inner wisdom. If today's message spoke to your heart, we warmly invite you to become a part of the Buddhism Seeds community. Please subscribe, tap the like button, and share this video with someone who might need a moment of peace. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below, whether it's your reflections, questions, or any Zen stories you'd like us to explore next. Your voice matters. Your support fuels this journey. Thank you for walking beside us on this path of stillness, strength, and awakening.